were to guess just how much your home, your relationships and all your possessions contribute to your happiness, what would you say? Would you be surprised to learn that it's as little as 10%? If it's only 10%, where does the other 90% come from? Keep watching and I'll show you 7 ways to get into the inner work of happiness. Hi, I'm Dr. Tracey Swift and welcome to my channel, Women Over 50 Reclaim Your Mojo, a lifestyle channel devoted to women's issues and the lessons that can be drawn from all aspects of psychology and philosophy to give you the happiness advantage. If you're new here, then please click on subscribe and click on the bell and you'll be alerted to every time there's a new video and they'll all relate to you. If you're a regular, then welcome back. Have you ever found yourself coveting a nice new pair of shoes, and once you get them, well, you still have a desire to then go off shopping again and perhaps buy even more shoes? Women are famous for wanting more and more shoes. However, psychologists tell us that this desire fulfillment loop, which is almost like an infinity loop, is actually a hedonistic treadmill. So once the desire is fulfilled, we're back on it again. But interestingly, when people are dying, more often than not, the things that they miss or the things that they regret are around family and relationships, not around things. So tip number 1 in terms of mastering the inner work of happiness is to value people and relationships far more than things. Do you consider yourself to be a domestic goddess? Perhaps you make the best pavlova for all your girlfriends. Or instead, are you the one that they go to in a crisis because you're level-headed and you know how to get your way out of situations? You see, the fact is that we're all good at some things and perhaps not so good at others. We might be a better cook than somebody else but a worse driver. We might be better at being creative but we're not good at leading. It can be anything. The key thing is that we mustn't compare ourselves to other people. So, key tip, focus on your strengths, play to your strengths. So, the father of psychology, Professor Martin Seligman and Peterson, a few years ago now, but they determined 24 different character traits. It's not pejorative whether you have them or not, but these virtuous character strengths are things that we all possess in some measure or another. So, if, for example, kindness and compassion is your thing, then why not this week try to do 3 random acts of kindness so that you can feel good about yourself. The key point here, whatever your virtuous character strength is, play to it. It will increase your happiness. Have you, or has anyone close to you, ever done something spiteful to someone else because of a grudge or a long-held family feud? I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Often you hear stories of people not being invited to weddings and other things because back in the deep past somebody else upset them. And so some psychologists and some popular blogs will suggest to you that having a grudge is a good thing. Now, it's human nature for us to be offended by remarks or the actions of other people, but to hang on to a grudge is actually an immature way of dealing with emotions and healthy relationship boundaries. So, in my opinion, it's certainly not a good thing to hold on to a grudge. And positive psychology tells us that actually those negative emotions are far better being out than they are in. And that if we free up space in our mind and our heart, after all, why should somebody else rent space in our head? The anger and the bitterness and the resentment and everything that we hold internally in those neural pathways actually harm ourselves, not other people. So this tip, to be happy and to have that inner happiness that you can reflect out, is to let go of grudges. And if you need help in terms of setting some relationship boundaries and understanding how to do that, then pop on over to my website. I've got a free relationship boundary tool that you can download that will help you to actually deal with situations in the moment or very soon afterwards, so that you don't have to hang on to negative stuff for any period of time. Do you find yourself getting less bitchy as you grow older? Interestingly, some research done at the University of Aberdeen suggests that women over 50 start to become more inclusive and collaborative with younger women who are attractive. And the reason for this apparently is that earlier in our lives, in the previous decades, we have a mating psychology. So we're competing for the best looking guys in terms of mating purposes, and we tend to be harder on other women. In my observation, it's certainly true. In the workforce where women are competing, then they do tend to be harder on other women than indeed they are on men. However, as women get into their 50s, they start to take on a family-oriented or a community-oriented psychology, and this enables them to be collaborative with people that they would have seen previously as rivals. And so that's the tip for you here, is to become less bitchy and to enjoy being more inclusive of other women. We do have feminine power and feminine energy to give. Some psychologists believe that the only things that we ever truly own are our memories and our personal experiences. And when you think about it, they are the only things that no one can ever take away from you. So if you think about the times, memories and experiences that you treasure and that you hold in your heart, more often than not they include family and friends. And I know for myself, growing up, my grandmother had a very large family, and each year we'd have a family reunion, and it was quite special actually to get to know my great aunts and uncles and extended cousins. So whether it's a special memory for Christmas or birthdays or a holiday together or things that you've done together, it's really important to actually cultivate memories and experiences and to remember that these things are happening in real time, so that we don't forget them and that you can hold them in your heart. So the next tip is, don't expect life to be easy. And why would we say that? Surely happiness is about having ease and grace. Well, that's true. But when was the last time that you went on a diet, perhaps to lose 2, 3, or even 5 kilos? Did you expect that you could do it without making any change to your life? Or did you know that there would be effort before there was reward? And did you take joy in the struggle or joy in the challenge of making that come about for you as a reality, that nice, slim, sculpted figure? So similarly with life, there are going to be challenges. But what you can do is be able to expect them and think about how you will deal with them as they come about. This is a concept called self-efficacy. And what it means is, if you anticipate the challenge and you imagine yourself reacting well in the challenge, whatever the challenge is for you, you will actually improve how you react in the moment to whatever it is, and then you will be able to look back on that situation and realize that you behaved with more grace and ease than you perhaps thought possible. And finally, research done at Harvard, particularly as reported by Professor Sean Aker, suggests that happiness starts within and all success follows. So whatever you own, your home, your car, your job, your relationships, everything will only contribute to 10% of your happiness, whereas 90% is about how you process the world. It's about the meaning that you give to events, situations, remarks that people make. It's about how you deal with challenge when it occurs. It's about how you value relationships. It's about what you're willing to let go of in terms of grudges and things like that. So follow these 7 tips in terms of the inner game of happiness, and you will truly be able to live an inside-out life that is a reflection of the fact that you have this glorious glow of happiness and that you can then share it with others. So happiness is the greatest gift that you can give yourself, and then you can share that gift with others. If you liked what you've seen today, then please come back next week for another video. Do leave me a comment or contact me. I'd love to know which of these tips particularly resonates with you, or indeed if you find one more challenging than the other.